So I basically brought, it's a County Derry Gaelic shirt. It's a tricky one because it's not really as such about the Gaelic. I mean, it is, but it also isn't, because it's more about the culture, I suppose, significance of it. I basically, when I moved here, I kind of got, one thing I kind of realised was I don't have any friends here that are from Northern Ireland.
Yeah.
And sometimes I feel a bit detached from home. You know, like my accent, you know, softens, and I don't have anyone to talk about things from home. So
yeah,
I think I wanted to kind of cling to familiarity.
Yeah.
And I kind of thought, what would be a really good way to connect with sort of Irish-rooted thing? And I thought I'll get into Gaelic because growing up I was raised Protestant, so I was never exposed to that sort of sport or that sort of culture.
Yeah.
So it excited me that there's this whole sport that I haven't grown up with, but it's in my culture to sort of associate with. So I basically started supporting the team and started wearing the shirt, and it was nice because then I could walk around with the shirt on and feel like I'm a part of something.
Yeah.
You know, I am someone from County Derry, and I can proudly wear the shirt, and it just made me feel more connected with the culture, which I suppose the past few years I've felt detached from, because, you know, I suppose I've been away from home so much.
Yeah.
I don't know how it is for everyone else, but I feel like, especially when you're in a place where there's not really any people you talk to who are from the same place, I suppose you sort of start to feel a bit, you're not alone, but you start to feel a bit just isolated in that sense.
Yeah, and like you're sort of losing a piece of yourself, like not all of yourself, but like a small part or a big part.
Exactly, because, you know, you still see your family and stuff and you talk to them, but every day you're not exposed to what you used to be, and you just, to me, it's always my big concern is I feel like I'm losing something. Like, I feel like I'm losing a part of me the more I live here, because I'm losing that connection I have. And, you know, like when people say to me, "Oh, did you hear about this?" and I'm like, "No," because I don't live there anymore. But I think it's good, because if you feel a bit worried, or you feel a bit like you're missing out, you know, it helps you feel included.
Yeah, which is like a big thing with like sport. Like, how do you engage in a meaningful way with a culture when you're not like ingrained in it like every single day? But sport is such a great outlet to feel like a sense of community, even if you're not experiencing it like with your own eyes, like in the flesh.
Yeah, no, completely. And I think especially living in Manchester is a good place for that, because people when they hear you talk and they know they figure out you're from just Ireland in general, they're generally really sound and they're generally really nice about it. Yeah. So I feel like that really helps, and I think the sports element was a big thing, because I've always been a person who wears football shirts. Yeah. I always wear rugby shirts. I always wear sports shirts. And
why do you think that is? Is that just because you've been big fans of these sports, or is it something else?
It's a bit of both. It's a bit of wanting to feel a belonging to something, and it's also, I've just always been a big sports person.
Sort of like goes hand in hand well.
And I think Gaelic was like, for me, it was like, well, I've never watched the sport, I don't know anything about it, but also at home it's such a big thing, and I just never gave it a chance. I'm like, well, why not now? Why not watch it now? The
perfect time,
Yeah, it's like, now I'm away from home, I want to feel a connection, and maybe now is the time to start giving it a watch. And I ended up last year sending me friends after I started kind of getting into it. I was like, Derry got to the All-Ireland semi-finals, which is a massive deal for Derry. And we went to, Derry was playing in Dublin, in Croke Park. And I said, if you have me Catholic friends, because I knew there was no point sending me Protestant friends, because they kind of disapprove of it. But
that's interesting.
Yeah.
They disapprove of what? Disapprove of the sport or of your involvement?
Both.
With it?
So it's been a bit of a tricky subject, because so me and the Catholic friends went to Dublin, watched the game. Yeah. It was the best sports match, and I've been to like 10, like probably over 10 Northern Ireland games. I've been to Derry City games. Like I've Korean, I've watched local football, and I love it. Like it's truly the best atmosphere ever. But that All Ireland Gaelic match was without a doubt the best atmosphere ever. It was just amazing. It was class.
Why? Like, was it just a very heightened?
Yeah, it was such
experience.
Because Derry are such a small. They're not the biggest county, and for them to get to a semi-final of all the counties in Ireland is remarkable.
Yeah.
And the atmosphere was just class, and the game was tight.
That sounds amazing. Yeah.
Oh, it was, and I never felt more pride to feel like I'm from somewhere.
Oh, that's amazing. So, like, the thing that you set out to do, you achieved.
Yeah. No, literally, I got that sense of belonging. I walk around Dublin because I got the flight in early. And my friends were coming down from Derry, and I was walking around Dublin for hours just in the shirt, and a lot of people were like, saying things to you, because there's a big match hyping up, and it was just great. But there's also the whole thing of that's the good side of it, but then there's the flip side of there's a lot of people, not a lot of people, but I have a lot of friends who give me a lot of grief, like,
I think maybe it comes from a place of ignorance from me, but that seems so odd to me, that this thing that has obviously been so nice for you and brought so much joy is like so harshly seen by some of your friends. Like, but I suppose that's because I'm not ingrained in the culture that you're ingrained with.
It's tricky, because I think the way you see it, kind of that unbiased perspective, is the way it should be seen.
But I suppose it's a little bit sort of idealistic. Like,
But I think, like, for instance, the friends I have that hate the fact I like Gaelic or have tried to embrace it, they hate it because there's no real actual reason. The whole Protestant Catholic thing in Northern Ireland has always been about, you just hate the other side of the equation just for the sake of it. There's no real justification. And they just don't like it because it's Republic culture and it's Irish culture, whereas I don't know why. Like, I came from the same background. I came from a very Protestant background, and I've been willing to embrace it. But the getting grief for it is the most frustrating thing. Like, I think I didn't even tell them that I went to the All Ireland game. And these are some of my best friends, bear in mind.
And like, you've just explained that it was like such a great experience, but then having to feel like you're not able to share that must, I don't know, it must bring up a lot of confusing and conflicting thoughts.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to ask, like, how have you sort of like found a way to think about it, or like, what do you think about it?
I think it's tricky because my friends that don't like it are some of my oldest friends, and I know they'll never change as much as I want to tell them. I think they don't. The way I try to explain it is, they've always lived in Northern Ireland, and I think if you live out, you move to somewhere else, you will start to miss home, and you will want to, embrace your culture. That's what people do when they move to new countries, and they just don't understand that.
So because you've had this experience that is sort of taking you out of the culture, you've maybe got a shifted perspective compared to your friends.
It's like that whole thing of old stubborn mentality. I think when you move out and you're, Manchester's such a free place. Everyone's so free spirited, and I suppose for me, I kind of stopped giving a shit about the politics and stuff. It's remarkable, isn't it?
Look at this
guy. That is sensational.
We're just like talking about how Manchester is like such an open place. I can smell it.
I was quite a waft.
So do you think if your friends who have taken like a judgmental view towards you being into Gaelic culture, do you think if they had moved to Manchester at the same age and had similar experiences to you here, do you think they would have the same perspective on it now, or is there something ingrained in your mind or your personality that has made that possible
I think
to change your mind?
I think it's a good question. It's hard to say because I think my parents have always been I was always raised in a very Protestant background, but in terms of I did Boys Brigade, it was a very Protestant stuff like that. But my parents have always been very like moderate people, politically is maybe the way to put that. Yeah. Whereas the friends that are very judgmental, their fathers especially have been they'd be very opinionated. Okay, so
maybe got more intense ways to see things than like
and
your parents.
I think I think their opinions would change. Yeah. Because when you move to England, and this is something that I probably should have mentioned, but like when you move to England, you're not from Northern Ireland, because English people don't. Everyone that meets me says, "Oh, you're Irish." And growing up, I always I'm from Northern Ireland. And then people start calling you Irish all the time.
That's interesting, yeah.
And I've lived here nearly 5 years and I've been called Irish every day since. No one ever says you're from Northern Ireland.
And sort of like everyone's on the same
wavelength.
Ground, yeah.
And then I go home and then I'm now thinking I'm Irish because I'm so used to. And then I'm like, well, because people are calling me that, and I suppose I just feel more. It's to a point where I don't just feel Northern Irish, I feel the whole thing. Because people call me Irish, and people, there's Irish bars in Manchester, and you sort of just embrace Irishness as a whole. Yeah. Do you know? And then I'm going home saying this, and then all my mates growing up are like, who've still live in the place that we live growing up. Yeah. They're like, well, what the fuck? Why are you liking Gaelic, or why do you want to watch Gaelic? Why are you why are you so politically open-minded? They just don't like that. And it's changed. People who are stuck in their ways just don't like change and are very close-minded. But I think if you go out and you go somewhere new and you experience new things and meet new people from new backgrounds, your opinion does change. But some people, I suppose, just aren't interested in that. I don't mean that in an arrogant way. I just mean it's sometimes getting out there and getting to see another side of the world can really help how you view the bigger picture, if you know what I mean. It's maybe the way I'd put that.
I think that's a good point. And is it sometimes ever tough, because you've said you made a choice to try and get into the sport, so is that something you've sort of undertaken mainly by yourself? Because you said you went to
the game.
The game, but is it normally just something you watch on the TV or by yourself?
So that's how I actually started. I watched Derry versus Cork, and I was like, I wonder if this would be any good. Yeah. And I sat and watched it, and I couldn't. The first thing I noticed about Gaelic is, and bear in mind, I've always been a big football fan. Yeah. But the first thing you got to bear in mind with watching Gaelic is it's not as simple as it is kind of complicated if you haven't watched it before. Yeah. Because they have to run 3 steps, bounce the ball, then kick it up into their hands, and then a goal is a different amount of points to above the goal.
I'm confused.
I was. It took me a good few games to actually be like, right, this makes sense. Yeah. So, what was the question? And do you know what? And it's just nice to have a bit of pride in where you're from. Yeah. It's not just about the sport. It's been able to say, I'm from a town called Loughery, but it's in County Derry, and I've always been from Loughery. Yeah. But it's nice being able to embrace the county that you're from. There's a great city, there's a great culture. Yeah. And it's nice to be able to embrace all of that. Yeah. And that's really important to me, because people don't see me as from Loughery, because in England no one's heard of Loughery.
And is this top that you brought, so is this something that you wear quite often, or is it sort of just for the games or anything, or is it just a part of your day-to-day choice of clothes?
Yeah, I feel for me, when someone sees a nice outfit in the wardrobe and then they put it on, they go out because they feel good. I wear this because it makes me feel a sense of belonging, if that's not cringe.
No, I don't think it is.
I don't feel like I necessarily look good, but I feel like
you do look good.
Stop it. Come on.
You've served that up so well for me to just like smash.
Just smash it out of the park. Yeah, I feel flirted with.
So it's not because maybe you like the way it looks. It's because of the sort of the sentimental feelings that you have towards what the club means.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I do feel like I look fine in it.
Yeah.
But it's just the fact that the idea that if I walk past someone someone like says to you, "Oh, are you from blah blah blah," and I'll be like, "Yes."
Yeah.
I met someone who gets it.
Yeah. It's sort of like a very easy way to have experiences with people that understand what the shirt is. It's like a quick way to introduce yourself, or it's like a sign to the world of people that only some people can like have the knowledge able to read the sign, and that immediately means that you're going to have a
connection,
which is amazing. And I love the idea of attaching like sentimental thoughts to like items of clothes and things. Would you say you're quite a sentimental person, like when it comes to things like this?
I feel like
attaching like meanings to objects.
I feel like I am. I mean, I feel like I am the type of person who like just, I don't know, I suppose I just like having some sort of meaning to things I use. And like for instance, my PlayStation, I know it's really random, but I've had my PlayStation since I was like 13 and I still play it.
It's been there the whole time.
Like genuinely, if my PlayStation 4 was to just break one of these days, I'd just have well, I wouldn't have anything, but like I wouldn't have anything left apart from the TV.
Apart from the TV.
What would I even do? But like for instance, my PS4 broke. Like that has so much sentimental value for me. Like I do feel like I am the type of guy who once he sets his mind to liking something, he'll latch onto it.
Find a way to introduce like the thoughts about it into it and like have a meaning. Yeah,
exactly. Like
I think I'm the same.
I mean, you must have like stuff like that, especially because you're such a creative guy, you know.
Yeah, but I think with the top that you brought, like not a lot of people, like like I said to begin with, you're the first person to bring an item of clothing, even though this is a show about art.
Yeah.
But like the way you've described it just sounds like you've got the same attachment to the shirt as an object and as a meaning that most people would attach to, you know, like a good book, or like a good book that you've met loads of your friends through, or like you can talk about with people, or an album or something like that. But I think that just speaks to like the power of sports, because I think a lot of the time, you know, like when you associate like the average fan of like contact sports and things like that, it's normally like maybe older guys that aren't very emotional or like openly emotional, but it's a great outlet for those types of things if you are open.
No, you're absolutely right, and I think people should be more like that. And I think but you know, at the end of the day, people aren't always going to be open about how they feel about stuff. And I think, you know, some people you just can't change, but at least they have this outlet. You know, they have the sports team that they love, and other people similar to them love. Like, you know, there's a lot of good things to stuff like this, and I feel like it's a nice culture to get into. Like, I'd recommend it. You know.
I think maybe you need to tell me when there's a game and we can watch something, because you said before that it's the beginning of the season or something. Which is so odd that we've chosen to film this now,
this day. I didn't even tell you. There was no prior warning. It's just it is remarkable like how that was timed.
So is there a game on today?
Derry's playing today. Derry's playing the first game of the football season today.
And have you got like a plan?
I want to watch it will be kind of like we said earlier. I will watch it on my own, but I'm trying to figure out how to stream it because it's on RTE, and RTE you can't watch over here without rights restrictions and stuff. So I'm going to figure that out. But I'm excited for the game, and I will figure out a way to watch it because the game I went to, the semi-final with my mates in Dublin, that was Derry versus Kerry.
Yeah.
And this game is
Derry's
first game against Kerry since.
And it's sort of like the rematch.
Yeah, it's like, and I think Derry have had an incredible, they've just had an incredible run. I think it could be a big game.
Yeah.
I think they're the underdog, but I still think they'd put up a great game for them. You know? So it does excite me to get back into the, because you know the season's been over for months. I haven't been watching it. I've just been wearing the shirt, but now I can be like, I can wear the shirt
for like a reason.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and the hype, you know, the feeling you get will be better once you start watching it again.
Yeah.
But it's very exciting.
I appreciate you being so open and honest about the things that you talk about, because I feel like a lot of people wouldn't share it, and I just appreciate it a lot. I think conversations like this with friends or with people you know well are always so enhancing for your life. So
thanks, Joe.
Appreciate it.
Likewise, I feel like you're very similar in the sense that you cannot. I mean, it's people like you know, that are an example of why people like me can talk about stuff like this. Because we talk about my friends from home that can be very close-minded, and you know, it's meeting people like you who are so open-minded, and is why I feel comfortable talking with stuff like this. So I appreciate that.
Kind of you to say.
No, I do appreciate it. Like there's.
I feel like we might be done.
Yeah.